Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm so excited to kickstart this journey with you. Let's talk business with Haeesh. I am your host Haeesh Abdelkabir, and on this channel we're going to be having real conversations with business owners, entrepreneurs and investors, where they are going to be sharing their challenges, their journey and the strategies that have helped them succeed. My very first guest today is no other person than the amazing founder and CEO of Advantage Health Africa. Her name is Mrs. Abimbola Adebakin. Thank you so much, Ma, for coming to the show.
Thank you very much, Haeesh, for having me on this call.
You're welcome.
As you mentioned, I'm the founder of Advantage Health Africa.
Ma, how do you started? I've heard so much about Advantage Health Africa. So can you share briefly how you started Advantage Health Africa?
So I had an idea from the work I was doing back then in Accenture. I thought it was important for many pharmacies to exist across Nigeria in chains. Chains are different from single individual independent pharmacies. What they benefit from is the economies of scale, and they have more buying power. So in my view then, I thought we needed larger chains, 50 branches, 100 branches. And at that time, it was just the largest chain had 7 branches. So what I'm talking about was a bit novel in that period. But then I started off and took on the entrepreneurial journey, and all I could get to was 3. I had to run away. The ecosystem was not friendly for running pharmacies. The things the entrepreneur or pharmacist had to battle with were too many. So in my second coming as an entrepreneur, my focus was on building systems that would enable stronger pharmacies to exist. And I began to see gaps in their access to resources, their access to markets, and their access to skills. That's why I set up Advantage Health Africa. It was to set up an aggregation of pharmacies instead of them being in chains, but they come as a group. And that way, they can still get the benefits of economies of scale and buying power. And so we started to aggregate pharmacies, and we created the first online pharmacy based on an aggregated platform called My Medicines. And that became an avenue for them to access more markets. From there, we began to build up skills and began to build up resources for them.
It's very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's a lot. I know it's not something you just started and you get to that point so quickly. So you definitely have to go through some stages. You went through some procedures before you arrived to that point. So, and for us that we the younger ones that were watching towards you, seeing all of this achievement, we really want to kind of learn from you and know some of the experience you went through. And this is why we are having this conversation. So can you tell me what is the thing that kept you going despite all of the challenges you encounter along the way as a woman? Because for a man to do something, it's more easier. For a woman to do it, it's like you have to put in like 3 times the effort a man will put in place before you get there. So what is that thing that kept you going?
So first of all, I don't come from the perspective that a man or a woman that they can do things easier over a woman. There are certain things that are easier for women by virtue of our gender, our ability to convince, our ability to draw emotions, that some men are unable to do as well. So I hardly ever consider myself at a disadvantage. Not that there are things that men can do better, just that it's not a disadvantage for me to be a woman in business. Now, having said that, it's not been easy. It's been challenging, it's been stretching, but I've been motivated by the dream of success. That imagine when this is successful. Imagine the growth that I will see in my industry, and I can attribute some of that growth to myself. That would be a meaningful life. For me, a meaningful life is when you add value.
Yes.
So I've seen a niche, I've seen an area that was lying fallow, that was waiting, so to speak, for my own unique set of skills. So therefore, every day that I was discouraged, maybe I didn't have money, or a staff left, or when we were pursuing a partnership, it fell through, it didn't go as planned. I remember that I'm made for this, okay? I have unique skills, I have unique opportunities, and I'm so favored with the kind of people that have worked with me, that have come my way, either saying, Abimbola, I want to volunteer to work with you. And I said, I don't really have money now. They say, don't worry, I just want to volunteer with you. Or those I've had to hire, and in the initial stages, we didn't have enough cash to pay salaries consistently. So of course, their families would be worried, saying, you better leave that place. And somehow they still chose to stay. That gave me some muscle, that look, you can't disappoint these people. And so I woke up each day, not literally each day, but I'm just saying I woke up always determined that I need to make a success of it. The third part is that after a while, I realized that as an African, it is important for us to build successful ventures in order for us to be taken seriously globally, or to be taken with pride and not considered beggars. So after the initial personal goals and team goals, it became important for me to run Advantage Health Africa as a successful African venture.
Wow, that's congratulations, ma. That is so lovely. The fact that you have the passion and your mind is so fixed that you're going to make success out of it, and that is what kept you going. And that is what most youths do not have. When we started something and we are not like achieving what we wanted to achieve within like a short period, 6 months, 1 year, this thing is not clicking, then we like, let me switch. Probably this thing is not going to work for me. So most youths do not have that patience, and that is why it is very hard for the youth to build something as strong as you people do in your time. So we the youth, we are struggling now because some of us, our mind is fixed to the money. So we wanted to just work and get paid. You understand? Or probably at the end of the month, something should keep on coming in. And when you are building something, you cannot be like, it's not guaranteed that you'll be financially stable at the moment. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So when you're building something in the process, because you are going to be putting all your resources there, so and it's not immediately you start seeing income or revenue from it. So it's going to be like, take some time and some patience before you start earning profit from it, which is
For some businesses, yes.
Okay.
For some businesses, from the get-go, you can earn. Okay. Especially with a lot of trading business.
Yes.
If you're going to build strong foundations down that need months and years of laying and not seeing the results, that's the kind of thing you have to do. But for some businesses, trading especially, and trading is not bad because it's lifeblood of commerce. You can buy, sell, and make your money immediately. So maybe at an early stage, if that is your drive right now, you have financial needs, I would advise trading. But if your needs are not as urgent, they're important, you must make money as an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You must make money as an entrepreneur. But if they're not as urgent and pressing, then you can afford to dig deep and keep building like I had to do. So both sides are important. Depends on the context. Depends on the person's situation. So I don't laugh even when younger entrepreneurs don't make it and they pivot or they abandon and they go and get a steady job. I don't, because the volume of insights that person has had in that 6 months that you mentioned or 1 year, you can't buy it. Especially if it is a person that is positive minded, that recognizes that, look, that was exposure for me. That was a pilot. I learned how to put together my thoughts. I learned how to lead two people. I learned how to contract. I learned how to convince. I learned how to persuade. I learned how to even be. They've learned. If they can take that and keep it in their pocket, many times when you are getting older, and they say most people that succeed in business are from 37, 40, and so on. I started this at 45.
Wow.
But most people that have reached that age have had multiple, in quote, failures.
Yes.
So you cannot chide someone who tried and then they make it. The person has probably learned how the market relates, has probably learned how to manage cash flow, has probably learned how to even hire one person. If 6 might have failed him, but 1 was good. He knows what to look for next time. Or even has learned how to manage himself, his own personal time. So for me, all of it is experience if you have a positive mindset.
Thank you so much. With Advantage Health Africa moving as it's supposed to move, thank God. So like in the next 5 years, so what is the thing we should be expecting from you? Like what should we be expecting? Because I can see that you are full of lot of things that we the youth will still need to continue to learn from. So what are the things we should be expecting from you?
In the next 5 years, I see 3 things. One is that we're expanding what we define as access to affordable and quality medicines.
Okay.
We have seen now that a subscription-based model works much better than a one-off transactional model. So we've cultivated a product called My Advantage, where everybody is on it. They can see it like I have a piggy vest or a cowrie wise. They can say I have my advantage, and it gives them confidence that anytime they need healthcare, they just need to contact, and they got medicines from the pharmacy, or they get directed to the hospital, or they get to the lab, whatever it is. My Advantage. So we want that to spread all across Nigeria and across Africa. That's number 1. We now have a pharmaceutical products line. In fact, we're shipping in our first anti-malaria product.
Okay.
So that's an aspect of our business that I want to see grow and scale to Cameroon, to all sorts of places in West Africa, East Africa, and Central Africa. The third point is that Advantage Health Africa has a lot of value to give within the ecosystem. We want to help more health entrepreneurs, more health innovators to scale. If they go to the hospitals or go to people's homes or send a nurse to treat people, when there are prescriptions, we feel it. We do it now for about 14 innovators. I want to be able to do it for 100, so that they can have enough space to do what they are specialists at, and we solve the rest for them.
Wow, that's a lot. So I hope in the next 5 years, you're going to be able to do much more than this, and you're going to just Advantage at Africa, like this is just still starting. We are still going more places. It's not just going to be Africa alone. It's going to be beyond Africa. So, and lastly, for me not to take too much of your time. Lastly, my question is, what message do you have for the young entrepreneurs that are getting started, trying to build a business or a career for themselves?
Sure. I think it's a good question, but how I see it is not necessarily for young entrepreneurs or older entrepreneurs, just for entrepreneurs generally. I think that whenever you look at what you are doing, find the value you are bringing. Focus on the value, not necessarily the solution. The solution can change. The solution can be tweaked. Today, let me give you an example. If what you see as the problem is that many ladies are not carrying good bags, and therefore they don't go and do well at meetings or interviews, and it's become a problem for you that you want to solve, you can say, oh, let me start with plastic bags. And the bags are not so good, or leather bags, and they're too expensive. You can say, oh, let me do a mix of Ankara and Ashoke, whatever. The point is, you want the woman to enter into a room and be confident when she goes for an interview or meets people. So the value you are creating is solid, but the solution can be tweaked. Be open and ready for that. The other point I want to say is that people must build businesses for profit, build your business for impact, but also for profit, so that you can be proud of it, sustainable, and Africa can be proud of you.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for sparing your time to be on this show. I really appreciate your advice, and I'm sure the youth are going to learn one or two things, especially some of us that we are still struggling to get things done. We're going to learn a lot from you, and it's really an honor to have you. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Aisha, for having me. And I pray that your platform grows,
Amen.
and it goes far, far beyond where you can even imagine.
Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Thank you, ma'am.